What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Chance Bishop Show for episode 78 of our MLB The Show 23 Baltimore's franchise mode here on the channel. We're at the All-Star game right now. We're going to use this time to kind of catch up on some things. So, for our MLB The Show 24 franchise, we're going to be holding off on that until, I guess, the new rosters come out. Not the new rosters. The game has default rosters. I mean, they're fine. They're missing a bunch of players. I think like Marcelo Meyer's missing, or he is missing. He didn't have a face scan, but I think he's missing from the game. You know, top prospect for the Red Sox. You know, he's not in the game, which is absolutely mental because he's like their top prospect right there. You know, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You know, for the Dodgers, he's not in there. Josh Donaldson signed super late. Blake Snell just signed, I guess at the time of recording this. He signed like 6 hours ago. It's 5 in the morning on March 19th. And he signed like 8, I guess not, it's probably like 8 hours ago. He signed sometime yesterday, in the time of recording this over, not when this comes out. So Blake Snell just signed. Yoshinobu Yamamoto's not in there. Imanga's not in there for the Cubs. You know, there's a lot of moves that happen very late in the season, or in the off-season, that aren't going to be reflected in the base rosters. And sure, you could just go into the roster, and you can just, you know, move Blake Snell to, the Giants. You can move Josh Donaldson to the Giants. But you're not going to be able to get their contracts right, which is going to be the hard part. So we're waiting on those, which is going to be super, super annoying. So that's kind of where our franchise mode is. For the show 24. We're not going to be continuing with the Orioles. I really strongly did consider the Phillies. You know, the Phillies made a lot of moves. You know, they re-signed Zach Wheeler, which, again, another move right there that's probably not going to be reflected in the initial rosters is that Zach Wheeler re-signing, which is a massive 3-year extension. Like, 3 years, like $42 million a season. But I really did consider Philadelphia. I really, really strongly consider going back to with, you know, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Bryce Harper at first. You got Castellanos, Schwarber, all those guys. I had a ton of fun in our last Phillies franchise mode, and especially now with, you got, I think, Mick Abels, you know, probably gonna get called up sometime in 2024. Painter's definitely gonna get called up in 2025. He's still gonna be 22 years of age. That's something that's kind of really looking forward to. But I don't think we're going to do it. At least not this. Maybe next year. Next year's still on the table. I'm going to be honest. If Yamamoto did sign with Philadelphia, we were definitely 100% going with Philadelphia because I really did want to do with Yamamoto. But he didn't. So he went to the Dodgers. And I considered the Dodgers for all of about 12 hours, I'd say. But then I don't want to go in there, get Yamamoto, and then just have Yamamoto absolutely just on a stack team. You know, I have Shohei, which is mental. You know, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts playing shortstop, you know, Gavin Lux, you know, all of these, you know, great players. And I really strongly did consider playing with that team. But I feel like to play with the Dodgers, you have to play with, like, salary cap turned off. Which is another thing I'm kind of pondering going into the show 24, is before I even actually play a franchise, is just testing it. Simming a couple seasons, do players still hit free agency if you turn off salary cap? Or does that just absolutely ruin free agency? You know, like, do we still get Yordan Alveraz and Spencer Strider in this series if we turn salary cap off? Do the Braves just keep them and the Astros just keep Yordan? Like, how does that work? So that's something I never really played with. But with how many teams are willing to go over the luxury tax now, I think you have to kind of consider turning off salary cap, which kind of then takes, I mean, it kind of also helps you now because you can't defer money. And one of the big things, like, look at Shohei's contract. He's getting paid $2 million a season because he's got about $800 billion being deferred till he's like 90 years old. So you can't do stuff like that. So how is Shohei's contract going to be actually in the show? Is it going to be absolutely broken, or is it going to be actually like $2 million a season? So outside of like that, I think we're going to go, I'm going to give you a little hint right now. We're going to go with the National League Central. Okay? The National League Central. I'm also going to be honest, it's not going to be the Reds. Sorry, we're not going to do a Matt McClain, Jonathan India, Ellie De La Cruz team. You know, they did Joey Votto super dirty. Joey Votto, he should have been. Joey Votto's one of those players you bring back every year. You want to come? You want to play another year? All right, here's your 1 year, $10 million. But because the Reds want to be cheap and they don't want to bring Joey Votto back, him not retiring as a Red, it's a real kind of black eye on that organization. But he's playing with the Blue Jays, so hopefully he actually makes the Blue Jays roster. And if not, we're definitely going to pick him up in our franchise mode, just saying. But National League Central, that's going to be the team we're going to be going with. I'm not going to really say anything more than that. It's just, I'm going to let you know, National League Central, not the Reds. So you guys can pick your teams right there, who you think we're going to go with. You got Cubs, you got Pirates, you got Cardinals, and you got Brewers. Right? Those are all the National League Central teams. Yeah, those are all the National League Central teams. So you got those 4 teams. You guys kind of debate down below who we're going to go with. I'm not really going to give any more spoilers about that. But until next time, YouTube, though, peace out, rock on, stay super classy. Hope you guys catch the next episode of our MLB The Show 23 franchise mode. We have an actual game, not just kind of like an update on where things are going to be going with this series, which we didn't really even kind of cover on, but this series and going into our next franchise mode series here on the channel. But peace out, rock on, stay super classy, catch you